Right, let's get to what is a huge night at the Etihad Stadium tomorrow, as Manchester City could be 90 minutes away from Champions League elimination. A reminder that they won't drop down to the Europa League, so defeat to Club Brugge would mean their European season comes to an end. Well, manager Pep Guardiola has been speaking to the media and to our reporter Ben Ransom today. Ben, afternoon to you. City with it all to do tomorrow. Did Guardiola come across as nervous about being eliminated from the competition this early?
No, I don't think I've ever seen Pep Guardiola nervous, even ahead of the biggest games, in the most precarious situations. I think he's always in control of himself in that sense. But look, I think that you can't get away from how big this game is for Manchester City, because it's not just, as you said, the context of their season. Are they going to be in Europe beyond tomorrow night or not? But also the potential financial ramifications of not qualifying through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. And just to put that into some sort of context, if they go out at this stage compared to getting through the knockout, through the round of 16 to the quarterfinals, that's some £20 million worth of prize money alone. So you can see why it's so important. And then, of course, on a prestige level, because Pep Guardiola prides himself on always getting Manchester City through the group stages of the Champions League. The league format is proving slightly more complicated given the fact they currently sit in the elimination zone. They need to win. It is that simple. It's a win or bust for Manchester City. A win would take them into the top 24. It means they'd be one of the unseeded teams in the playoff knockout round, which is that would be the next round in a couple of weeks' time. They'd be drawn against one of the seeded teams, finishing in the positions 9th down to 16th. So it's a really precarious situation. Club Brugge themselves above City currently in the league table, and for Pep Guardiola it's simply unthinkable they exit at this stage.
The situation that we have to an option is win the game, and if not, we will not continue in this competition, and we wanna go through to have another chance to play another 2 games to qualify for the next stages. So it's not a problem, it's an opportunity, a challenge, and we will face it.
What kind of a blow would it be to the club if you were to get knocked out?
It will be not good, but I'm not thinking about that right now. So I know for all the people concerned about what's going to happen in qualifying, I appreciate it, your concern, and all of you to don't qualify, but I'm thinking we're going to do it.
Would it be embarrassing for both you and Manchester City if you didn't make it into?
Ask me a question after. I know you want it, but thank you for your concern again. You know how worried you are. We are out, but we're going after the game. You can concern me, and I will answer you.
You're on a bit of a run at the moment in the league, at least, and won again at the weekend. Do you feel like things are turning?
No, not yet.
Why do you say that?
Because it's few games.
And I mean, how they'd want to have Rodri available for a big game like this. Some new arrivals this month for the first team, but still nobody to fill that position, Ben.
Yeah, no, they went into this window with it being one of the priority positions. It's something that I've spoken to Pep Guardiola about a few times in this January transfer window. But actually, they've moved on other targets to this point. They've brought in 2 central defenders, haven't they, to bolster the first team squad, and then Omar Marmoush as well for the combined fee of around 120, 130 million pounds for those 3 alone, which is a big outlay for Manchester City this month. And clearly, they've brought players in to help them. They've struggled defensively, haven't they, in terms of conceding goals and in terms of injuries, particularly to key personnel across the back line. And then with Julian Alvarez's departure in the summer, they had been lacking someone to play a bit closer to Erling Haaland and to just carry that attacking threat and play across the forward positions. And Marmoush certainly excited on his debut at the weekend. But from that defensive midfield role, it is an area City are still looking at. We know they've looked at Douglas Luiz. There's been talk that City would be open to a loan, taking him from Juventus for the rest of the season. Certainly suggestion from Italy is that Juventus don't want to loan the player out. Also, they've looked at Ederson from Atalanta, a player that City recognise is going to be really difficult to try and sign in this window because he's doing so well for his club. Atalanta in the Champions League, they're in that top 8 currently as it stands going into the final round of matches tomorrow, 3rd in Serie A. It's not perhaps the time to be able to sign a player of that calibre, but they're certainly keeping their options open. And of course, Pep Guardiola was again asked today, with 6 days left of the window, whether they are looking at that position as a potential signing, as a potential priority in the final few days.
Every position is important. They perform well, and of course, we have replaced this time already with the two players. They are not proper holding midfielders for many reasons, but yeah, we'll see in the future what they have to do.
It's a huge game, though, for City tomorrow. But of course, the new arrivals that have come in are not available to play in this match. They can't be registered until, assuming City do make it through to the next round of this competition. So there'll be no Reich, no Kusanov and no Marmoush. Apart from that, it's the same squad of players fit and available for Pep Guardiola that took on Chelsea. John Stones, he'll get a check on this afternoon. We'll get to see him in that first part of training to see how he's coming back. He's obviously being rehabilitated into the first team, played another 35 minutes against Chelsea. One big step forward, though, could be Oscar Bobb. Pep mentioned to me he could well be available for the game tomorrow. He's been out for a long time, hasn't he? So it'd be interesting to see how much of a part he plays in the opening 15 minutes of training. And we will be there, cameras and all, from 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Lovely stuff, Ben. Thank you very much.